The Linux version of OctoPrint for the LatheEngraver can be installed entirely through the command line. The first command that you give will depend on what type of system you have. I'm running a Debian-based system, so sudo apt install git. You just need to make sure that you have git installed. Many systems already have it installed by default. The next command that we put in here, it will be git clone, and then we're https github.com poxtelis OctoPrint deploy. That's going to clone OctoPrint deploy. Now we can give the command git tick or minus capital C OctoPrint deploy, and then we're going to do checkout LatheEngraver, and that's going to put us in the LatheEngraver branch. And then we now give the command sudo OctoPrint deploy OctoPrint deploy.sh, and this will ask for your credentials, and you do have to be an administrator in order to install this. So we give this command, and the first thing we'll do is prepare the system here. And now this is going to take a little bit, and I'll just describe as this is happening. It's looking for if OctoPrint's already installed somewhere. We're going to be installing this. It's essentially a web service, and so you'll open up a web browser and go to localhost :5000, and that'll take you to OctoPrint as soon as you're done with this. Again, we're in a Debian-based system, so we're going to put in 1 here, but if you're using Arch or Fedora, you'd put in the appropriate number. And we can click ready to begin, and this is going to make sure that it has all the packages that we need to run here. In this case we don't need any, and I've already installed OctoPrint on here, so it's going to be installing everything. It's going to go kind of fast. It might take a little bit longer when you do this. And HA proxy, this isn't necessary in this case. I'm just going to give no in this particular scenario. It's going to ask if we want to use a camera streamer. I'm not going to have any cameras hooked up to this, so I'm going to put none here. And now we create an instance, and here we give a name, no spaces or special characters. I'm going to call this just Engraver, and it asks if we're ready to begin creation. We say yes. And now we have to let it do an auto detection here, and effectively you just click yes here, and then you don't have to plug anything in. You can just let it time out. It takes 1 minute. All right, our 1 minute has elapsed, and it says we can do a udev rule later. We don't really need to worry about it if this is the only thing we're using OctoPrint for. And it says, are we ready to write all the changes? We'll say yes, and it's going to do some uniquifying of these instances just to make sure that it has things correct, and it's going to start a service. And I'm going to go ahead and set up an admin user now, so we can give our name here, and we'll just give it a simple password for now. Now it'll also say, do we want to complete the first run wizards? We can just say yes here. Simplifies things a little bit. And then this is a critical part for the LatheEngraver. It says, would you like to install recommended plugins? And you say yes here. And now in this case, we're going to put in option 10, which is to install all of these plugins. So these are all of the recommended plugins for the LatheEngraver. And it'll go through and do all of that. And we have our instance installed now. And one of the things that we can do just to make sure that everything is where we want it to go, if we go to the utilities menu here, we can we can look at our instance status and make sure that here Engraver is active in this case. All right, that's all we really need to do in this case. And now we can go to, now this will run on HTTP only initially, so now we can go to open a web browser and go to this address, and that will take us to our OctoPrint instance.